of lawyers, an important decision and should not be based solely on advertising.
This is the Gashouse Gang on 104.1 FM KMOX. Sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling, a Daikin comfort dealer. And by Anderson Hospital, a Newsweek World's Best Hospital. Now, the Gashouse Gang on KMOX.
Remember at the end of the show yesterday, I said, hey, we should get Ken Rosenthal on. Let's reach out to him.
Yes.
So we did. Talk to Ken. He's actually traveling today, so he wasn't able to join us. We'd like to do it in the future, and we will do that. We got a good one, though, today at 12:30. Rick Ankiel is going to be with us.
How about it?
How about it? Rick Ankiel. What a great story, really. I mean, just had to end it as a pitcher because he couldn't find the plate. Became not only a position player and worked his rear end off to get back to the major leagues as a hitter in the minor leagues, but he became a good power-hitting outfielder with a rocket arm in the outfield for the Cardinals and for other teams, too. Ended up hitting a postseason home run with the Braves, which kind of made it full circle for him. He grew up a Braves fan. He ended up hitting a home run for Bobby Cox in the postseason. Really a neat story. Rick Ankiel will be with us at 12:30.
You come into the league as this huge prospect as a pitcher, and you have it fall apart for you in a pretty spectacular way, and you know, if for baseball terms, a tragic way, because that's a really difficult way to lose a career. Just the mental hurdles you have to clear to come back from that at all in any capacity. It's one of the truly remarkable baseball stories that after and you know, having that fall apart for you on such a big stage in front of everybody, and then to be able to come back from that in any fashion is, it truly is unbelievable. And so anytime we get a chance to talk to him, I think it's great.
Yeah,
I remember when that was happening. I was so mad because I was with a bunch of friends watching that game when, you know, he had the wild pitch, the multiple wild pitches. Then the following game, you know, it was the same sort of thing, right? And I remember I'm with people, and they're all, like, loving it because they hate the Cardinals. It's all a bunch of people who hate the Cardinals, and it was pissing me off. And I'm like, and it happened in Atlanta, right?
Mm-hmm. No, it happened here.
Well, there were fans booing him. Something happened on the road. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, the game.
Not booing. I'm sorry, not booing, but, you know, every time he throw a ball to the backstop, it was, hey, you know, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And I am going, look at these classless fans. I was just so mad about it. I'll never forget that. And the fact that he was able to make anything out of himself at all, any sort of return, even if the return wouldn't have been any good, the fact he was able to make it back to the big leagues in itself is unbelievable. And he was actually a pretty good player.
It is amazing. Tony La Russa says to this day that his home run in his first game back is one of the greatest moments of his career, including the World Series, because Tony felt bad, still feels bad to this day, that he started Ankiel in Game 1 against the Braves in that division series. Cardinals won that Game 1. We'll talk to Rick about it, but mostly about, you know, his thoughts on the game today, his thoughts on could that ever happen again, somebody pitching and turning their career into a position player, or, you know, Shohei Ohtani. Why somebody asked, I'll just save it for Rick, but somebody asked us at an event that he and I did together recently, asked Rick if more kids would try to be like Ohtani, because the best athletes when you're growing up are pitchers on these little league teams. So why don't more players try to? It's because it's very, very, very hard to do.
It's hard, but also, Tom, every team can really only have one of them. If it goes well and every team is able to create a two-way player, you can only have one, because it's got to be the DH. It's got to be the DH when he's not pitching, and you only have that one spot on the field.
So love Rick. We'll talk to him at 12:30. The Cardinals won yesterday. They beat the Marlins 7-4, and it actually was a better pitching performance for Michael McGreevy than it looks. He ended up making an error, which led to an unearned run. He gave up 4 runs. 3 were earned in his 6 innings of work, but McGreevy didn't walk anybody. He struck out 5. He looks like a big league starter, and he is learning on the job. It's very impressive. Not only the way he pitches, Chris, but the way he responds to the instruction, the criticism. Ollie talked about it yesterday. He loves giving him feedback and hearing McGreevy's feedback, and this is the essence of what the Cardinals were trying to do. Runway for Michael McGreevy. He has taken it and run with it.
This will be a pretty important final 5-6 weeks of the season. Just see how many starts he can get in and see what he can do with it. But I think that going into 2026, you've got somebody who, if he is, middle or back end of your rotation, and you're able to, find another top of the line starter, and who knows, maybe he becomes that. Maybe he finds a way to become a 1 or a 2. But if you have him in a rotation at 3, 4, and 5, or 5, I feel like you're in pretty good shape.
Yeah, it was an impressive win for the Cardinals. They knocked out 12 hits again, a 3-hit day for Thomas Saggese, who is getting an opportunity here. Nolan Arenado is going to come back maybe. He is working down in Jupiter, joined the team in Miami for a little bit. He's still trying to work things out. Not throwing just yet, but he is doing some work, especially conditioning, just to try to get himself back for one last run. I'm sure it's frustrating for Nolan, who knows nothing else except to play. He's a ball player. I mean, you can be critical of the fact that he's not performing offensively, or he rejected a trade when the Cardinals had it lined up and blah blah blah, but that guy's a gamer. I mean, he just loves to play baseball. So you feel for somebody like that. Although he makes a ton of money, it's what he wants to do is play baseball for the Cardinals. They are going for the sweep today. Andre Palante will start against the Marlins. And finally, we have a lot to do today, but this is National Radio Day, and so we're going to play coming out. We'll let Matt kind of take his pick. Matt Pajeski's our producer, as to what highlights he'd like to play, and we'll pick some to play in and out of commercials, and we'll take some of your requests as well. We can't fulfill them all, but if you have a favorite radio call through history, we'll try to dial that up for you in short notice, on short notice. But I wanted to bring this up. Maybe not a lot of people realize this, but you and I worked together way back. So I started here in 1997 as a producer. I went on air in 98 as a reporter. Your first year was
98 as an intern.
Right.
Yep.
So, Chris was with us in the sports office. He was with us working behind the glass of Sports Open Line. And so you and I got our starts at KMOX roughly around the same time. And what a sports department that was. Ron Jacober was working mornings and doing sports on a Sunday morning. Randy Carricker was hosting Sports Open Line. Dan McLaughlin was the weekend Sports Open Line host at that time.
And I was working mostly for him. I was coming in on weekends to work for Dan.
And I was, working behind the scenes, and then became a reporter. And when Dan went to TV with the Cardinals, they promoted me to weekend Sports Open Line host, which gave me my shot on air. So I'm forever thankful to Dan for that, for his elevation to Cardinals. And it was just an amazing run. Tom Langmeyer was the one who hired me. Steve Moore came in pretty early on in my career and guided me through a lot of things. But back in 97, when it all started, I just could not believe, and I still can't, that I was working alongside Jack Buck, that I got to work with Jack Buck for 4 years. It was like going to graduate school after college, to be able to learn from the best of the best, and not just his calls and his hosting and the way he flawlessly worked that industry, but Jack as a person, what he meant to St. Louis as an ambassador, and all the things that he did for so many people that you'll never know, that did not get publicity, that he just went out and did. He was my greatest influence. He was the reason I came to KMOX, is I wanted a chance to just meet him. I had no idea that I was going to be able to work with him as I did.
I know there are and were a lot of really great shows on this station. When I started to really pay attention to it, clearly growing up in the 80s, I heard Cardinals broadcasts all the time. So heard Jack, heard Mike Shannon. But there was, of all the great hosts that have been on this station, I don't think there was a better show than Buck and Shannon, at least for me growing up. Just that baseball broadcast. It just sounded so good, and they were awesome at the job. And even Shannon, when he became the number one play-by-play guy, it took a little bit, but I think he turned into an exceptional play-by-play guy and an incredible personality to go along with it. It wasn't one of those guys who was a former player and they threw him in and he just kind of skated by on his name. I mean, he got really good at it. And for me, a play-by-play person, man or woman, the thing that sets you apart is, or makes you good at the job is, can you describe what's going on the field in such a way that I can visualize it? I can see it. I know what's happening. I'm not lost listening to you tell me what's going on. And you have some personality behind you. And he was unbelievable at that. And of course, Jack Buck is Hall of Famer.
That's
right?
well said. I mean,
so it's just what a great team.
Mike is the St. Louis Cardinals, born and raised in St. Louis, became a Cardinal, won a world championship, broadcast, and was part of an incredible run for 50 years up in the broadcast booth. And Mike, you're so right. I mean, there were so many things that did not air that he would call things out that were going to happen. I mean, if you sat behind Mike in the booth and you watched the game through his eyes, he saw a different game than all of us. He just had this amazing knowledge of the game, had a great feel for the game and the people who played it. And of all the things that we've done at KMOX, we were the first to take phone calls in the business. That was at your service. Bob Hyland, Jack Buck was part of that. Phone calls being taken on the air started by KMOX. We were the pioneer of sports talk radio, Sports Open Line, the longest running sports talk show in America. Sports on a Sunday morning, you can say the same. They've run at the same time for a long time. Cardinal baseball, all the great shows, Jack Carney, everything that our station was about. Maybe the best show our station ever had was Live at Shannon's.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I just think that if you really think about what the best of radio was, I felt like Live at Shannon's post-game until about midnight on Saturday nights was about as good as it got. And he could pull the best guests, and you had the ambiance of the restaurant behind him, the clinking of glasses, and just the stories. It was as if
bunch of guys sitting around a table talking about baseball.
Eavesdropping on two guys hanging out, sometimes three, sometimes four, at the bar talking ball. That was about as good as it got, man. I mean, that was just some show. I just love it so much.
Yeah, and there was nothing like that at the time.
We've been asked many times, could we put together an album of Live at Shannon? Could we have an archive of Live at Shannon's? It's been talked about. I mean, I don't know exactly what we're able to do and how that licensing would work, but I will tell you, we're about to turn 100, and there are going to be a lot of stories told, and a lot of people will be involved in what KMOX was all about. And Mike Shannon is very much part of that 100 years, well over half of the 100 years here of this radio station. Let's take a quick break. We'll come back and do more of our National Radio Day with regard to the Cardinals and KMOX. We'll talk a little bit more and take your questions and comments about this ball club. Rick Ankiel is going to join us at 12:30. It's the Gashouse Gang on KMOX with Chris Ranji. I'm Tom Ackerman. Back after this.
Wake up informed. Wake up empowered. Wake up to Total Information AM, your morning must.
Hi, this is Debbie Monterey.
I'm Megan Lynch.
This is Tom Ackerman.
From local news to breaking headlines to weather, traffic, and the stories that matter most, we've got you covered before your first sip of coffee. Expert analysis, bright perspectives from the people you trust. Total Information AM, your day starts here. Mornings beginning at 5 on 104.1 FM, KMOX.
Why do the national tax resolution firms need the tiny fine print at the bottom of all their TV ads? Hi, this is Lance Story with the Lance Story Law Firm. You don't hear fast-talking disclaimers in our ads because the claims we make are 100% transparent. The Lance Story Law Firm primarily focuses on one thing, IRS problems, and we're regulated by the Bar Association, and we have a AAA rating with the Better Business Bureau. IRS issues are serious legal issues. The Lance Story Law Firm has helped thousands of clients navigate the best resolution plans, and we tell you up front exactly how much it'll cost. Tax resolution law is all we do. So before you send money to some out-of-town, high-pressure salesperson, give us a call at the Land Story Law Firm, located right here in St. Louis. Call today to schedule your free consultation with me, 314-260-6120, or visit LanceDruryLaw.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
You hear that?
That's the sound of your business losing money. Legacy phone systems weren't built for today's teams. OpenPhone gives your business a smarter way to stay connected. OpenPhone lets you manage calls, texts, voicemail, and contacts all in one place so that you and your team can deliver a seamless customer experience from ring to... Need to take calls on the go? OpenPhone automatically transcribes, summarizes, and highlights next steps from every call, so you never miss a detail. Need insight into what closes a sale? With OpenPhone's AI call tags, you can instantly spot key topics like objections or pricing questions, and use those insights to coach your team and level up every customer interaction. And yes, you can bring your existing number with you for free. Keep your team in sync and your customers happy with OpenPhone. OpenPhone. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try OpenPhone for free at openphone.com/try and get 20% off your first 6 months. That's openphone.com/try. openphone.com/TRY.
Calling all future sportscasters. Sharpen your skills and learn from the best of the Missouri Broadcasters Association Sportscasters Forum, Tuesday, September 16th in St. Louis. Join Cardinals beat reporters, broadcasters, and the legendary John Rooney, the voice of the Cardinals, for insider sessions on play-by-play, interviewing, reporting, and more. Then cap the day with a Cards-Reds game at Busch Stadium. Open to college students and broadcasting pros. Just $10 for students, lunch, and a game ticket. Space is limited. Register by September 2nd at MissouriBroadcasters.org.
Straight Realty has always been an industry leader when it comes to commissions, so it should come as no surprise that the recent Realtor settlement has only empowered us to continue offering our sellers even better rates. We now list homes for only 2%. Hi, I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. Call me, 314-441-4444. Why pay more than 2? You can also listen to my podcast on my website, straightrealty.com.
Commissions are not regulated and are negotiable. Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
Upgrade your family vacation with an unforgettable escape to the Palm Beaches. From outdoor adventures and laid-back beaches to thrilling family attractions and animal encounters, the Palm Beaches have something for everyone. Discover premier resorts with creative kids clubs that will keep the little ones entertained while you enjoy world-class golf and spas. We are the original, the one, the only, the Palm Beaches. Plan your trip at thepalmbeaches.com.
KMOX is everywhere. 11:20 a.m. Streaming live on the Odyssey app and now at 104.1 FM.
And I would not love to see number 25 off of Albert's bat go into the street. The pitch. Swing and hello, 4th of July. Take a ride on that knockdown pitch, big boy. Kerry Wood knocked him down, and now Albert looks at him as he goes around first. He gives him a glare. Say, take a little whiff of that, big boy. And now Kerry Wood takes a look at Albert as he touches them all. Give it to him, big boy. Give it to him.
And he said, that's how you play baseball. You don't run out.
Funny.
You don't charge the mound.
It's so good, man.
You take the next pitch and you hit it into the seats.
I loved Mike Shannon home run calls. Yeah. All of them. He was so good at that.
Yeah, there was just that level of excitement, and you could tell also in that call the level of respect that he had for Pujols. Remember, that was July 4th, 2003. That's only Pujols' third season, not even 3 seasons complete. And Mike already knew this guy is special. He is, the way he just described him, that's how you play baseball. He had the utmost respect for Pujols. And by the way, that season was the season that La Russa told a group of us in his office one day. He said, best player I've ever managed. And we were like, excuse me? Like Oakland A's, and we were running through all the players that he was with the White Sox and the A's and the Cardinals, and he said, best player I've ever managed. And this was in 2003. Mm-hmm. He hadn't won anything yet. Of course, he ends up winning MVP and multiple World Series, and La Russa turned out to be right. He is the greatest right-handed hitter I've ever seen, and probably the greatest hitter I've ever seen, period. Not probably, he is.
Just awesome stuff, man. I mean, he's and that was a thing where you didn't really know if he was even going to make the team to begin with.
In 01, yeah.
In that first spring training.
And Mike,
right?
Yeah, and Mike just had a way of making that and other moments so very special. Welcome back to the Gashouse Gang. It is National Radio Day, so we are talking a little bit about the background of KMOX and the Cardinals, in addition to our guest coming up, Rick Ankiel, at the bottom of the hour. But one more thing about it, there is something very special about radio, and I love the television side. I do work as well for FanDuel Sports Network Midwest, and I love baseball on TV. It's a great thing to have on. I have it on all the time, not only the Cardinals, but I like to watch other broadcast crews, and I love having the game on in the living room. My family knows that. Baseball is always on in the house. But there's something very special about baseball on the radio. It does take us back to our youth in many ways. We can remember where we were when something happened, because I always feel like with radio, you don't have to be in your living room. You can be outside at the barbecue. You can be working in the garage. You can be in the car. You can be on a road trip. You can be anywhere, and you can take the radio with you, and it puts that picture in your mind. If it's a great broadcast crew, like you mentioned, Jack and Mike were so good at it, and John and Ricky and Claves do such a great job with it, where they can take you into that theater of the mind, and they describe everything, and it's through them, but you get to experience the joy of baseball, the soundtrack of summer. You live with those voices. They become your friends, and we were so connected to those broadcasters as kids, and my hope is that we're raising a new generation of baseball fans through our voices on the radio with those play-by-play broadcasts. It's such a beautiful thing, and it grew the fan base, literally grew the Cardinals fan base to the size that it is today, because KMOX was the strongest signal anywhere. So anywhere west of the Mississippi and north and south of this location, you could get KMOX. You could hear Harry Carey and Jack Buck and Joe Garagiola, and you got Cardinal baseball right there in your living room, in your car, and it grew the fan base to what it is.
And you know what else today? Having Cardinals baseball on FM, sports sound so good on FM radio because there's a lot of clarity. Fidelity's great, obviously. I mean, you've been able to listen on the Odyssey app for several years now, which you can for free if you're in the listening area. So you could take it on your phone wherever you go. But to have the FM signal is really big. And there is. It's a noticeable difference. But I grew up on the AM signal listening to it, so I have an attachment to it. Like, I do like that. But, there's something about FM, and the clarity of it is just, it's special.
It is, and it has made people very happy because they can hear the games, but also they can rip through their FM presets and land on KMOX and land on games. It's really, really great. Doesn't it feel good? There's Graham checking in. He said, I guess I didn't realize how long it's been since I heard prime Mike Shannon call a game. Brings back such a warm feeling. Next off day, I'll have to find an old game to listen and score.
Oh, man. That's committed.
Mark says Harry Carey in the 60s. Yeah, absolutely. This is Amy, said, my dad always listened to the Cardinals games while barbecuing, while drinking his cold bush beer. I got that.
Let me tell you something. Backyard baseball, listening to a Cardinals game in the backyard, it's the best.
Matt liked that Pujols call off Kerry Wood, and we have much more to come. Another note on yesterday, before we get to Rick at the bottom of the hour, is that the Cardinals are, I do want to mention that I appreciate that they are getting some contributions out of Sajacy. Something that maybe got overlooked yesterday. Two things. McGreevy makes the error, and I mentioned he comes back and gets his 6 innings. But Sajacy had a rough day the day before. He had 2 errors. No, that was against the Yankees. He had 2 errors in 1 inning, and things fell apart. That was the one that the Yankees won 8-4. But Sajacy comes back with 3 hits yesterday. The Cardinals are going to have to do a good job with these young players to remind them that this is baseball. You've got to put that in the rearview mirror. It's easier said than done, and come back with a great performance the next day. This is a game of failure, and I'm happy for Sajacy that he was able to get a few hits. Nolan Gorman is another one of those who has made some errors at third base, but has started to turn the corner and made some great performances offensively for this club. The Cardinals yesterday, in a 7-4 win, had a 2-hit game out of Nootbaar, Herrera, Contreras, and 3 hits out of Sajacy.
Thomas Sajacy, I don't know what he is going to be or how he's going to factor into the Cardinals' plans over the next couple of seasons, how much they plan to utilize him at all. But it doesn't just apply to him. It's all of these young players the idea of washing it off. If you have a bad night, Jordan Walker I'm thinking about here a lot. If you're him, if you are even one of the relatively inexperienced players like Nolan Gorman, being able to forget about what happened the previous day, come back, have a good day is huge for their growth, especially because this team is expected to be pretty young moving forward. And
a really nice day for Mason Wynn. That might fly under the radar as well, but he had 2 stolen bases yesterday. Yeah. He is a phenomenal shortstop. We know he's starting to show some good signs at the plate.
He better win that Gold Glove, man.
He's got to be good running the bases and stealing bags if he wants to be a leadoff hitter for the future. And so that was a good day for him yesterday. Rick Ankiel, he could do it all. We're going to talk to him next. This is the Gashouse Gang. It's sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling, SaligaHeatingandCooling.com, and by Anderson Hospital. We'll be right back.
Named one of Newsweek's world's best hospitals for 2025, Anderson Hospital is your hospital for life, delivering exceptional, compassionate care to families across the Metro East. From emergency services to specialized treatments, our dedicated team supports your health at every stage. Experience world-class care close to home. Discover the difference at andersonhospital.org.
It is 83 degrees in St. Louis. The AccuWeather Real Feel is 97.
Brought to you by Duke's Mayonnaise.
This is the Duke's country song. It's a song about the best mayo. It has a yellow lid, and its full name is Duke's Mayonnaise. Get Duke's Mayo in store. It's got twang.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio.
This Labor Day weekend, we're celebrating Bob's Discount Furniture's 200th store milestone with the entire Bob's family across the country. For more than 30 years, we've believed everyone deserves the home they love. That's why we brought our everyday low prices on furniture, mattresses, and more to over 200 locations from coast to coast and counting. Not to mention free treats for the whole family in our cafes. Celebrate Bob's Discount Furniture's 200 store milestone this Labor Day weekend.
Oh, my Bob!
Genesis of St. Charles, St. Peter's is where it's located, but you know what? It's closer than you think. It's Tom Ackerman for Genesis of St. Charles. Based on GMA sales records for 2024, Genesis of St. Charles is the #1 Genesis dealer in Missouri for 2025. Every purchase comes with 3 years of complimentary Genesis service valet, and people are taking advantage of that. You can also buy online at genesisofstcharles.com and let them deliver to you. Genesis, a phenomenal vehicle. Let Genesis of St. Charles bring that test drive to you. If you're in the market for something new, you are going to love the new Genesis models. They have a large selection in stock, ready for you to check out. I test drove some recently. What slick, awesome vehicles Genesis vehicles are. Genesis of St. Charles. Experience luxury service at their state-of-the-art facility, 5601 Veterans Memorial Parkway. That's off Mid-Rivers Mall Drive and I-70. Missouri's first and only standalone Genesis dealership, genesisofstcharles.com.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friends at Michael's Baths. Your bathroom might be small, but fixing it can feel huge. Cracked tiles, outdated fixtures, and that tub that's seen better days. Well, at Michael's Baths, we're going to get you the bathroom of your dreams at a price that you can afford. Mike usually comes in 30 to 50% less than the national companies. He is local. He is family-owned and operated. He's done this for 30 years, and he is a great guy. 636-775-0800. 636-775-0800 or michaelsbaths.com. BobsDiscountFurniture.com.
This Labor Day weekend, we're celebrating Bob's Discount Furniture's 200th store milestone with the entire Bob's family across the country. For more than 30 years, we've believed everyone deserves the home they love. That's why we brought our everyday low prices on furniture, mattresses, and more to over 200 locations from coast to coast and counting. Not to mention free treats for the whole family in our cafes. Celebrate Bob's Discount Furniture's 200 store milestone this Labor Day weekend.
Oh, my Bob! I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. We're dedicated to serving people 50 and up like me. Our needs are different. Big Wireless wants us in an unlimited plan, but if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used. At Consumer Cellular, we're focused on affordable, reliable plans, including data that suits your needs, not ours. Our plans start at just $20, and you'll get the best customer service in the business.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com/facts or a store near you. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
Hello, fellow Missourians. This is your Congressman Bob Onder. My top priority is serving you. Whether you need help with a VA claim, Social Security, Medicare, or any other federal issue, my team and I are here to cut through the red tape and give you answers. In the last 6 months alone, we have returned over $1 million to taxpayers. Call my office or visit my website, onder.house.gov, to learn more. Missouri is my home, and I'm honored to serve you in D.C.
Paid for by official funds authorized by the House of Representatives.
It's the annual KMOX Blood Drive with the American Red Cross, August 21st from 2 to 7 at multiple locations. Everyone who attempts to donate receives a $15 e-gift card. Make an appointment in the Red Cross Blood Donor app or at redcrossblood.org and enter KMOX for a drive near you.
Cards manager Ollie Marble joins the Gashouse Gang every Tuesday at noon. Sponsored by Siteman Cancer Center on the voice of the Cardinals, 104.1 FM, KMOX.
The Gashouse Gang on KMOX with Chris Ranji. I'm Tom Ackerman on this National Radio Day. Our producers are Matt Pajeski and Frank Ladd. We were just promoting that Rick Ankiel was going to come on the show. I was just texting with Rick. He gave me the heads up that he had to get on a Zoom for business reasons. He's got a couple of things going on, and we understand that. I mean, it is the work day. Rick does work, not just in baseball, but in some other projects and endeavors, and it was something that he could not pass up, and he apologizes to all of you and wants to reschedule. I guess we'll let him do that.
You know, you can't spell big old liar without Tom Ackerman.
You want to see the text?
Yeah, no, I believe you now. I'm just saying, you've been promising me for hours that we've got Rick coming on.
I'm so sorry.
And then you did this.
I'm so sorry.
Big old liar.
I will say that the other, not to name drop, the other person I was texting with today wants to potentially come in studio when he comes in town for the Gashouse Gang. I think you're going to like it.
Can I guess?
Yeah.
David Freese.
You are correct. It is David Freese.
You're not lying to me about that one, too, are you?
One of the most famous home runs in baseball history. I am not. He really does. So he's going to be in town next month, and we're going to try to get him in studio. I think we do a full hour with Freese.
Oh, that'd be great.
I think we do that. And then, you know, if we can do it, it would be on a Monday, and we can get Rooney, who was part of that World Championship call as well, and get him in there. Shannon, of course, had the famous call. Matt, why don't you dial that one up? That's one of the great Shannon calls as well. Freeze's home run in the 2011 World Series. But we'll continue to take your comments and talk a little bit more about the beauty of baseball on radio, and not just that, but you know, radio extends to other sports. As Steve said, my mom listened to every Cardinals, Blues, Mizzou basketball, and Mizzou football. Let me stay up in the 63 game on the West Coast. Oh, I see what you're saying. The games on the West Coast. Simmons versus Koufax. The Birds won 1-0 in 13 innings. I was 11 at the time. Chris, I used to sit in my room when I was a kid here in St. Louis, and I would listen to those late games. Not just baseball, but I would listen to Dan Kelly call hockey. I did not play hockey growing up. When I was a kid, we did not have rinks in St. Louis like we have today. The opportunity to play hockey was fairly limited, I would say.
Yeah, and it's expensive to play.
Yeah. So, you know, I played soccer like pretty much every kid growing up in St. Louis. I played baseball. Later in high school, played a little football, played a lot of basketball as a kid. But hockey was not my sport. I learned hockey as a kid listening to Dan Kelly call the Blues games on KMOX. And he was flawless. I mean, just a flawless broadcaster. Basketball back in those days, Mike Kelly calling the games. John Rooney called some Mizzou basketball. Joe Buck was part of the Mizzou basketball calls back in the day. Of course, Bill Wilkerson calling Mizzou football, calling Big Red football. Before him, I'm not old enough because I was born in 75, but those Cardinals football playoff years, Bob Starr might be the best radio football broadcaster in history, not named Jack Buck. I mean, he was just incredible at calling games. So we have such a vast history here. I'm glad that Steve brought that up because we're not just baseball. We have carried pretty much everything. You name it, we've carried it. From the NFL to the NHL, Major League Baseball, and beyond.
We've been very fortunate when we bring up names like both Bucks and Bob Costas and all the people who have Harry Carey, who have come through here, who have had their voices on this air, calling all sorts of sports. We've been very lucky with the quality of broadcaster that's come through town.
Oh my gosh!
We're a small market. St. Louis is not. We're one of the smaller ones. And I think we've been pretty fortunate as a listener base to be exposed to people like that. I mean, there aren't a whole lot of stations in the country that can do that. Aren't a whole lot of teams in the country that can boast that like this one can.
We've had some of the great moments in baseball history, including this one in 2011 in St. Louis. All you have to say, you don't even have to name the sport. You just say Game 6, and they know what you're talking about. Here it is.
3-2 delivery on its way. Swing and a high drive to center field. Get up, baby. Get up, baby. Get up. Oh, yeah. David Freese has just sent us into game number 7. This series is tied 3-3 with a walk-off home run here in the bottom of the 11th inning. The Cardinals win it 10-9. Unbelievable.
Woof. I mean, you were there for that, right?
Yeah. So the backstory on that one is my dear friend Ben Boyd, who was our executive sports producer for a long time and is now the manager of the Cardinals radio network. He oversees our network. He was with me, and Kevin Wheeler, who was hosting Cardinals postgame. We actually all met in the KMOX studio underneath the stadium. And one of the topics we were talking about, because it was the Cardinals were losing 7-4, was what are we going to do if they lose this game? How do we handle the end of the season? The Rangers win the World Series, blah, blah, blah. So Alan Craig hits a home run as we're down there. And you could feel the walls shaking and the stadium's rocking. And we'd say, let's get back out there. So we go out, and in the green seats behind home plate were some empty seats. Some people had left, if you recall.
Oh, no.
Yes. Yeah. So we asked one of the ushers, are there some open seats? He said, right here. So we sat behind home plate for the triple off the wall in the 9th inning. And by the way, the Rangers had brought the family of the families of the players down to the clubhouse in that 9th inning, and beer and champagne and everything else. Well, that stuff went right back out once Freese hit the triple off the wall. And then Josh Hamilton's home run in the 10th inning, I thought, there it is. That's the story. Josh Hamilton, his personal comeback story, the home run that beat the Cardinals in the World Series, and then the Cardinals do it again. They played a run, Lance Berkman with his incredible hit, and then that one right there, David Freese, after Jake Westbrook blanked him in the top of the 11th, he hits the leadoff home run to win it in the bottom of the 11th. Greatest baseball game I ever saw. Cards win 10-9.
Loudest you've heard it?
That's hard to say. The old Busch Stadium was incredibly loud.
It was pretty enclosed.
Yeah.
So that was hard
that
to beat.
was a very loud, wild party. I mean, I would say that I couldn't believe that everybody, was awake the next day, but there was a Game 7 to be played.
Yeah.
And the Cardinals, of course, went on to win it all the next day with Chris Carpenter pitching on 3 days rest. I mean, just the whole story of the Cardinals 10.5 out in August and coming back and winning the World Series was just remarkable, amazing, the most incredible thing I've seen. And I feel like we've seen it all. The Blues coming back to win the Stanley Cup, the Rams doing what they did in 99. But that 11 Cardinals team was amazing. That the Braves collapsed, the Cardinals made it on the last day, and then won the World Series in the fashion that they did.
You mentioned the Cardinals 10.5 out. So what I think you're saying is right now.
No, I'm not.
Right now.
No.
They're only 5 games back.
If you notice,
that's less than half of that.
If people have noticed, I haven't even touched it. In fact, in Sportscast in the morning, I don't even mention the Cardinals in the standings at all. I go Cubs, Padres, Mets, Reds a game back. Anyway, moving on to other sports. I'm not going there. I just don't. It's not even worth talking about.
Why not?
Because they're not a playoff team. They're a 500 club. Because I'm telling you.
Tom.
So record this and run it back if they pull off a miracle, right? And then Tom's an idiot. But I'm right. See, everyone agrees with me. So
you know what though? This is the best place to be. You sit there and say it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. They're going to the playoffs because one of two things happens. Either they don't go to the playoffs and you could say, "See, I was right," or they do go to the playoffs and you get to celebrate with everybody else. Yeah. It's the best position to take. It's an unlosable position.
They don't have the horses to do that.
They don't have the horses.
This is Henry said Albert's 700 radio call. The national telecast doesn't do it justice. I felt bad about that for the crew that not only did it on Apple TV. I felt terrible for Dan McLaughlin because that was his opportunity to call 700 on Bally at the time. We did have it on KMOX. It was a pretty special moment. And
the 1-1 pitch. A swing, and there it goes! Left field, way back! That's home run number 700! Pujols hits a 3-run homer, and he hit 699 and 700 at Dodger Stadium on September 23rd, 2022. 8:23 p.m. Pacific time.
Magic. Just an incredible second half of the season for Albert Pujols, who went to Ollie Marmol in Atlanta in May in the office at Truist Park and said, "I'm done." He said, "I am going to, when we get back to St. Louis, call it quits and retire." And Ollie said, "You can't do that. You can't. You have to stay.
Yeah.
You have to keep going." And Albert credits Ollie for pushing him on even when he was not doing anything. And somehow he clicked in the second half after he was in the home run derby. For whatever reason, he started to the Cardinals were great because of him. He was their best hitter in the second half of the season in 22. And along that, he also had to chase this milestone, and he gets it and ends up hitting 703.
And you mentioned the broadcaster for it and McLaughlin not getting the chance to do it. And it was my guy, Wayne Randazzo, who was the Apple TV broadcaster. He was the Mets guy. Really good broadcaster. It's unfortunate. It's not his fault.
No.
It was his job. He had to call the game because Apple TV had the. And by the way, you've been following the story about Apple TV probably no longer going to have baseball.
I have been watching this.
They're getting out of it.
NBC and Peacock looks like they're moving in. ESPN moving out, although ESPN wants to perhaps get
MLB
be a part
TV.
of
They're going to buy
the streaming rights. But NBC is making its move here on Major League Baseball. That could be a lot of fun. We'll see how that all.
Well, you know how people
out.
get so upset when they have to go find Apple TV Plus to watch a Cardinals game.
Yeah.
So maybe this will alleviate that.
Well, we got some great, like you said, some great friends there. Trisha Whitaker, Wayne Randazzo, really good people. Here's a little bit more. This is National Radio Day. We're having a little fun with calls today. We haven't heard Jack yet. We've heard Mike. We've heard John. This is, to me, of all the calls, I don't know why this is my personal favorite. I wasn't even alive when this happened. But you have Ozzie Smith's Go Crazy, folks. You have Jack Clark's home run in the same series off Tom Niedenfuer in the next game, which is one of his greats. Winning it all, which we're going to hear in 82. And, of course, McGuire's number 61. But to me, this one in 1971, with the greatest Cardinals pitcher of all time on the mound, having never done this, and Jack is on the mic. Let's hear it.
And Gibson is one strike away from the no-hitter. He takes off his cap. He mops his brow. He looks in and gets the sign. He starts the windup. Here's the pitch, and it's a strike called. A no-hitter for Gibson. Simmons roars to the mound, embraces Gibson, who's engulfed by his teammates, as the Cardinals win the game 11-0. 25 players pound Bob Gibson.
You can hear the emotion of Jack Buck. Not often you would hear his voice
crack like that. It's a little bit of a crack. Yeah,
and you could hear the tears in his eyes, and it was a beautiful moment. He loved Bob Gibson, and so did Cardinals fans, and it was an incredible scene to see Bob Gibson in the 70s now pitching for this team complete the no-hitter against the Pirates.
Really awesome stuff, man.
I
mean, we got a good broadcast team now, but there's a nostalgia to hearing Jack and Mike and some of these other broadcasts. But again, we've been very fortunate here.
We sure have.
A texter, we were talking about how loud it was for Game 6, and a texter here says Busch 2 was so loud after Roland's homer off of Clemens in 04. It felt like an actual earthquake from where I was watching in the basement of Patios.
Oh, we actually left off that conversation, but I was going to say that is the one for me. It was Roland's home run, and it's because of what happened right before that. So Pujols had doubled off of him right before that at bat. So the place was already rocking.
Mm-hmm.
It was like vibrating. And then Roland takes one, and it was kind of like McGuire's 62, where it was just a laser, and it got over the wall and left, and the stadium shook. I was in the auxiliary press box, so that was in right field up. It was like a suite that was converted into a press box, and I can remember the scorecard in front of me like moving around.
Yeah.
Like it was just, the place was on fire.
You know,
that's a top 5 Cardinals team of all time, 04. People were feeling it. This is the year. And then you just had this dread when the Red Sox did what they did coming back from 03 against the Yankees.
Oh yeah, I mean, it seemed inevitable. I think about do that little thought exercise of if Albert had hit that Houston home run, the 05 home run on the road, if he had hit it at home, how loud the place would have been. But it was almost perfect it wasn't here.
Oh, it was so cool that it
just shutting everybody up.
And that has a radio story to it too before we take a break, because I was here at KMOX at the old building when that happened, and we had lost the rights. So there was a 5-year period where the Cardinals left KMOX, and we knew at that point that we didn't have the broadcast after the 05 season. So that extended us another game. We were trying to go out a world champion in 05 on KMOX, and that actually kept our season alive on KMOX, and we went nuts at the station. We were running around, high-fiving in the hallways. Let's go, baby. We got another game tomorrow. Or Game 6, when they come back home, and as it turned out, they lost Game 6, and that was the end of Busch Stadium, too, as well.
I was in Chicago at the time, and I was this close to getting a Sox-Cardinals World Series. It was the year before I started working for them, but I had a feeling it was about to happen. So I was kind of attached to the team. And I thought, oh, yes, please, let's get a Cardinals-White Sox World Series. And I thought it was about to happen. And when he hit that home run, I was like, yeah, Houston ain't coming back from this one, baby.
I love these radio memories. Good stuff. Back in a moment. It's National Radio Day. It's the Gashouse Gang on KMOX, sponsored by Saliga Heating and Cooling, SaligaHeatingandCooling.com, and by Anderson Hospital. We'll be right back.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends Mark and Neil Gelman from the Gelman team of eXp Realty. If you want immediate cash for your home or to see what your home is actually worth in today's market, find out for free from the local experts. 314-336-1991. Go to thegelmanteam.com.
The legendary sound of the Doobie Brothers is rolling into town. Don't miss the show. Coming to Hollywood Casino Amphitheater September 4th with special guest, the Coral Reefer Band. It's a night of timeless hits, epic harmonies, and classic rock energy like only the Doobies can deliver. Tickets are still available and can be found at Ticketmaster.com. For more info, head to KMOX.com/events.
Here's a few questions for you from California Psychics. Do your workdays seem to go on forever? Is your career progression as fast as downtown traffic? Or does your boss still not know your name?
Hey, you, Tina, Lisa,
Sheila, whatever. Get that report to me by lunch, okay? It's Carrie, ma'am. Just get it done, Terry.
It's time to read the career warning signs and talk to California Psychics. We're always on hand to give you the career guidance you need. You see, we only connect you with the very best. In fact, 98% of the psychics who apply to work with us don't make the grade. That's why we can guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. So you could soon be telling your boss where to stick that report.
Where are you going, Terry? Terry!
Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics. Call 1-800-PREDICT today and get 20 minutes for just $20.
How are we already at the last show of the season at the Muni? The return of Jersey Boys closes the 107th Muni season. Hits like Sherry, Big Girls Don't Cry, My Eyes Adored You. I will meet you at the Muni.
The Muni in Forest Park.
Jersey Boys, the story of Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons, closes the Muni season in style, August 18th through 24th, sponsored by Commerce Bank and Commerce Trust. For tickets, visit muni.org.
Your garage door is always there for you, rain or shine. Are you taking your garage door for granted? Is it screeching and whining for attention? Trust Overhead Door Company of St. Louis to keep your garage door reliable. Maybe the old weather stripping needs replaced to keep out the cold and hot air. Call Overhead Door Company of St. Louis, trusted here since 1926. For same-day service, call 314-781-5200 and schedule online at overheaddoorsstlouis.com.
Tomorrow, some of us will wake up and it will be our last day on this earth. It will be unexpected and without warning. Each year, 250,000 people will die from medical malpractice, the third leading cause of death in America. 43,000 will die in a car or truck crash. 6,000 will die working on the job. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan, and we represent many of these families. It's awful. Unfortunately, many times some of these family members are not speaking and never get to say, I'm sorry or goodbye. If you're at odds with a loved one, listen closely. Pick up the phone. Call them. Say you're sorry. I promise a huge burden will be lifted from your heart and your soul will be renewed. Even if you're not wrong in your own mind, it doesn't matter. Death is bad enough. Death without closure and love will follow you the rest of your days. Trust me on this. Morgan & Morgan. Injured? Dial # law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Today, the Cards, the Marlins.
Ameren Total Access 445.
Cardinals Radio, 104.1 FM KMOX.
Here's Rowan. He could give the Cardinals the lead. The pitch to him. Swing and get up, baby. Get up, get up, get up, get up. Home run. Rowan has just given the Cardinals a 4-2 lead. He smoked it off of the McBride and Home Builders sign down the left field corner. Listen to Cardinal Nation.
There it is. Scott Rowland, 2004, Game 7 of the NLCS.
Man. Wish I had been there for that.
Oh, man. It was so, awesome.
You get to see some of these great games and great moments, and I've seen most of them on TV. I'm so jealous of people who've actually been there for them.
It's crazy. We're out of time for this, but the people that talked about McGuire, the 61 call is a great one. Actually, let's go out on the 61 call, and thank you for joining us on the Gashouse Gang.
2 out, bases empty for Mark McGuire. Mike Morgan is the pitcher. Here it comes to McGuire. Swing! Look at there! Look at there! Look at there! McGuire's number 61. McGuire's flight 61 headed for Planet Maris. Home run McGuire, 61. History. Bedlam. What a moment. Shaking hands with the third baseman of the Cubs. Pardon me while I stand up and applaud.
Don't get lulled into believing the IRS is getting soft. It's just the opposite.